Welcome. This is Peggy O'Neill. Welcome to today's Facebook Live. It is Experience Liberation from Your Thoughts. We're going to go through an experiential journey here to support us in liberating ourselves from our thoughts. Pause here for just a few seconds. Well, I'm going to invite you, if you're here live, to say hi and make comments. And if you're watching this on replay, please put in hashtag replay. And I want to pause for a few seconds because I've had a lot of trouble lately with these videos, the voice syncing up with my mouth. It's out of sync. And my computer advisor said maybe wait a little bit and let the, whatever it's called, the system, whatever, to catch up. So I'm going to be slow here at the beginning, give it a second, few seconds for maybe the system to catch up, and see if you've said hi. So please say hi. And I'll begin after I wait just a little bit. Let's see, that's been a minute. So I'll go ahead and start, and maybe today we'll be in sync. I'm Peggy O'Neill, and I'm the founder of this community, Answering the Call. And what is meant by that is that for most of us, we have some sense that something's missing, or there's something more to life. There's something, maybe I'm here to uniquely express something that doesn't feel like I'm totally aligned with myself. Something else I want to give maybe or contribute, but I don't know what that is. It's that sense something's missing. So answering the call is that. So you have answered the call because you're here to help explore, yeah, what is this? What is this longing? Because I want to know what it is so that I can feel whole and not experience this longing anymore. And to know what it is that I want to express in this world. Because that's really our purpose in life, twofold. To know who we truly are. That's part of the call. That's the longing. So we really want to know who we are. And then the other part of it is then what am I uniquely here to express as I know who I am. And who are you? We're all one shared being. And our essential nature is love and peace, happiness and fulfillment. So I'm glad you're here. So we will now get officially into it. So we're going to experience liberation from your thoughts. It's an experiential exercise or experiential process that we'll go through here to support us in feeling, being liberated from our thoughts, not so identified with our thoughts. And the more that we experience it, the more that we can not identify with our thoughts and do what I'm suggesting here today, then the more we'll experience that peace and contentment in our lives. And in actuality, then, we'll be coming home to ourselves, answering that longing. So let's look at our thoughts. They're happening all the time. Some people say we're having 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. A lot of thoughts. So let's just pause for a second or two and notice that there are thoughts really talking to you right now. It's like a voice, a conversation in your head that's just constantly going. So let's see if you can notice that. Okay, so you probably noticed it. So those thoughts are, well, I'm going to define two kinds of thoughts. There are thoughts that are based on our conditioning, all the beliefs that we have about ourselves and our lives, things we learned from, hey Sheila, glad you're here. All those things we learned from our parents and society and culture about what we should and shouldn't do, who we should and shouldn't be, how we should look, what we should do, what we should say, how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to get things done. All of these beliefs about ourselves and how we should perform and act and show up in life. And then there are judgments too, that a lot of them are personally related. So we have judgments about other people, like we could have a judgment about somebody that's making a presentation. Oh, they're doing a terrible job. And we feel that visceral, like there's something wrong with him kind of judgment. And that's a personal judgment. It's related to keeping my personality, my sense of separate self intact, and separating me more from that person. Can you see that? If I'm judging somebody like that, oh, they're just terrible at what they do. Well, I'm comparing myself, and that we can feel it in our bodies, that it's a personal sort of judgment, because I'm like putting them down. And a different kind of judgment that's a discerning judgment that is useful is if we're, let's say we're the manager or even a coworker, and the person's making a presentation, they're going to go make a presentation to a client, we might be thinking, oh, they're not doing so well. I need to help them with that. It's impersonal. It's a discerning that there's something missing that they could actually fix or adjust, that they would be better at it. So those judgments aren't personal. Okay, but we have all of these kinds of thoughts about life, how it should be, how we're doing, how other people are doing, and so we have all of those kinds of thoughts, all based on our conditioning. Then there's another kind of thought that I often call ideas, so that we separate them out. If we're not paying attention to all of the thoughts that I just described, then we can be an open space, which is who we truly are, and ideas will just come to us. And I'm sure all of us have had this experience where'd that idea come from? Where'd that thought come from? Often in the shower, right? It was like, oh, that was a great idea. Where'd that come from? So those are our true creativity coming to us, being revealed to us when we're not so focused on the thoughts that are the conditioned thoughts. So that's useful to make that distinction and to know that. So now back to these thoughts. So you might notice right now, notice a thought that you have. And now notice, did that fit into any of those types of things I've described? Like, am I wasting my time being here? Or do I understand what she's talking about? Maybe you're thinking you know better, or you should know better than what I'm talking about. All of those are those conditioned sort of thoughts. And we don't really need to be paying attention to any of those. They're like a babbling creek going by. If the creek was right here making a bunch of noise, babbling, we wouldn't be paying any attention to it. I mean, we might be if we're kind of meditating on nature and, oh, how beautiful that is. But with our thoughts, they're babbling and they get our attention. Alan Watts says a version of what I'm about to say, which is our thoughts are like this. That's all they are. They're a bunch of noise. We pay attention to them. And that causes our suffering. As I've said, some of them cause us to feel more separate from other people or separate from ourselves. Our essential nature is not doing anything wrong. Can't do anything wrong. Can't be not beautiful. Can't be, can't be not beautiful. So all of those sorts of judgments about ourselves or other people that create a separation and differentiation are all designed to keep us finite, small, and and limiting, and they diminish who we are. So and they're constrictive and restrictive, and it doesn't feel so great. We can tell the difference in those thoughts. So could you kind of tell kind of a tightness if you had those sorts of judgmental thoughts? Or maybe when you paused, some idea came to you. What do you notice about the quality of that idea that came to you, your experience? So like these free ideas, there's a difference, there's a freedom sense to it, almost an inspiration when they just come to you. But the other thoughts that are going on all the time, that most of us are paying most of our attention to, are going to make us feel more contracted. Can you tell any difference right now? You noticing any thoughts where you can tell the difference? So that's, let's see. So also now, again, notice a thought. And then ask yourself, where did that thought come from? Where did that thought come from? Can you find the source of that thought? Now you might, because of conditioning, say, well, it came out of my brain. But in your experience, where did the thought come from? Let's do it again. Notice a thought. You have some thought come to you. Now, ask, where did that come from? We can't find the source. So how does that help us be more liberated with our thoughts? Because we have identified with these thoughts. So we want all of them, whether they're ideas that come out of nowhere or whether they're all these judgments and opinions and shoulds and shouldn'ts, and I'm good and I'm bad, all of those. We identify with all of those thoughts. However, if we do our own research, don't ever believe anything I say. All of this is an invitation to do your own research, either while we're together or after this is over, and research it. Keep researching it so that you can see, yeah, I don't know where those thoughts come from. I don't know where that thought came from. So we can stop identifying with them. Realize they're just coming to us out of our conditioning. What we've been conditioned to notice, to pay attention to believe, they just keep coming. And so the liberation is in not identifying with them, knowing they're just coming out of nowhere. They're not coming from me. So we think those ideas are coming from me, but where would they come from? Me. In our experience, the thought you didn't experience the thought in your brain. It just revealed itself, right? It just showed up. Like a ball got thrown across the room. It was kind of like that experience, right? It just showed up. So it's not my thought. We say that. This is my thought, my idea. But when we do the research, we can see, I can't find where it came from. And then the other way to liberate ourselves is to not pay attention to any of those beliefs. None of them. When you notice, because you will, this takes some time to stick with it, and then it becomes more natural. But at the beginning, you'll notice, that something's going on in your life that you don't like, and you're going to start saying something about it, like, I don't like this. You might not use those exact words, but maybe this shouldn't be happening. I should have done better. I should have known better. I shouldn't be in this place. How could this happen to me? I thought by now I'd be in a different place with relationships, with finances, with weight, with whatever. So we judge ourselves. But notice these thoughts are just coming out of nowhere. They're not your thoughts. They have nothing to do with you, but we take them personally. And then we believe them. So, okay, so why shouldn't you believe that I have a weight problem or a financial problem or a relationship problem? Why shouldn't you believe that? Because you could say, well, I have evidence for that. Okay, well, but if you didn't have a thought about it, would it be a problem? It's just something that's happening. But then we bring in all of these thoughts about it, and now it exacerbates it. Makes us feel worse, makes us think the situation is awful. That causes our suffering, and then we're going to engage with all of that in a suffering sort of way. In relationship to ourselves, in relationship to the situation, instead of not listening to any of those thoughts. Remember, it's just a bunch of noise. So you relax your focus from those thoughts. After a few seconds of not paying attention to thoughts, relaxing, you'll feel more calm. Now, I say a few minutes. I mean, if it's a really intense situation, it could take a few hours, maybe even a few days. But to not listen to the thoughts, to relax, just allow them to be, then we're calm. We experience our essential nature at that point, which is that calm, empty, open space, allowing space. And then we're more able to be with the relationship or the finances or the work situation in a way that we're more creative in that. Because now we're not listening to the thoughts. What ideas can come to me? What is there to be done in this situation? So those ideas I was referring to can just come because you're not listening to all of the judgments and the conditioned thoughts. It's we've just been doing it so long that it almost seems wrong to not listen to the thoughts. I was working with a client just this week about this, and when she has been lately not listening to her thoughts, she said it feels so weird. Why does it feel weird? Because we're so used to the drama in our experience that paying attention to all those negative thoughts about ourselves or other people create in our experience. Many of us much prefer all the drama than the peace. But the peace lies in not listening to those thoughts, just a bunch of noise, and relax. So relaxing our attention. It can sound like you're doing something, but actually that's our natural state, is to allow. It's not even a state, because states come and go. It's our natural being, is to be an open, empty, allowing space where things just pass through. So it's actually natural for us to just let thoughts pass through and not pay attention to them. We've just been conditioned to pay attention to them. Like we're told, what are you thinking? Tell me what you're thinking. One of the worst questions anybody could ever ask. So don't answer that question. Be still and let something arise that's appropriate in that moment. So we relax our attention. So it's like this. If our whole lives we've been living with a clenched fist, this would feel natural. So listening to our thoughts feels very natural. But yet, now that you know this, I say, oh, a clenched fist, that's not natural. This is natural. So for a while, it can feel like I'm doing something because I'm relaxing into my natural being. So it can feel uncomfortable to not listen to thoughts. But what you're doing is relaxing into your natural being, which is allowing and open and non-judgmental. We are not our thoughts. We identify with them. We think we need to believe them. No, we don't. They're just thoughts. They're just something happening. We wouldn't be paying attention to a babbling brook. Thoughts are the same thing. I've said this in different ways today, but so you might also, though, be asking, but what do I do about a situation if I don't pay attention to thoughts? You do basically what I said just a few seconds ago. You don't listen to the thoughts that are coming from conditioning, and you can tell those pretty easily because they're going to be judgments. You should do this, shouldn't do this, shouldn't be happening, all of that, and it's going to feel constrictive. You'll be able to have the feeling quality difference between, as you pay attention to this, between those that are conditioned thoughts and some sort of idea that comes to you. So we don't listen to thoughts, and we relax, and then we can ask, so what wants to be done now? And nothing may come to you, and unless it's an emergency situation, most of the time we don't have to do anything now. We think we do. Another thought that we don't need to believe, but to relax and allow what comes to us to be done when it's ready to be done, and then we'll do that or not do that. But so we'll attend to the situation if that's what's wanted. I know that can sound pretty out there, but that's why this work is so radical, is because we're allowing our essential nature to express through us in the way consciousness wants to and is expressing through us. So we're allowing ourselves to know what to do or not do when we know. So that's pretty much what I have today. Oh, Maite, hi, it's good to see you here. And I appreciate the distinction of the thoughts, conditioned versus inspired. Great, thanks, Maite. Sorry, Maite. So are there any other questions or comments? Or thoughts about the thoughts? So, okay, so I hope that you've experienced some liberation today, a little bit of maybe relief in that I don't have to believe these thoughts that I keep telling myself about myself. All those are conditioned thoughts. They are not true. Who you are is magnificent, shining, beauty, peace, love, wise, fulfilled. That's who you are, not what any of those thoughts say. And the more we don't listen to those thoughts, the more we'll actually experience that. And the more we'll be available to the most peaceful, loving, generous way to be in any situation or in a relationship or whatever's in front of us right now that at first we were judging. All right. All right. Well, thank you again for being here. And if you have any questions at any time, post them. And next week I have another free workshop on Thursday, December the 15th at 12 noon Central. It's 90 minutes, free, and it is a workshop. So we roll up our sleeves and do some work. Love for you to come. It's Wisdomary Leading. It's an introduction to or it's really, I mean, since you're already in here and watching this, then it's a deeper level of discussion, interactive conversation about who we truly are based on the wisdom traditions. And I offer several insights that once we know them, we can't ever look back. So it'll be something that'll, can be life-changing because, I never thought about that before. And then the illusions, what keeps us from seeing and knowing these insights. And so I hope you'll join me. And if you're interested, then and you haven't yet registered, the only thing you need to do to register is just put in the comments which day. The next date is December 15th. The next one is January the 17th. So you can really register for either one, but or just let me know. Really, so no real registration. Just let me know. Either send me an email at Peggy-O'Neal ONEAL.com. or just put in the comments or send me a DM which date you want to attend, and I'll send you the information to join us on Zoom. So I'd love to share all of this for 90 minutes at a deeper level either of those days. So let me know if you want to do that. All right. Thanks again for being here. Hope to see you again next week, and maybe on the same day, maybe today, for both the Facebook Live and the free workshop.